Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajwa and I hope this video finds you well. If you are new to this place, please consider subscribing, and to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support and welcome back. So I have realized that in the past couple of months, anytime I do a video and feature Rehab's French coffee, a lot of people ask me if I can get them a link from where they can get this one. Whenever I try, I realized either the shops have run out of stock or, I just felt they had even discontinued this one at some point. But over the last couple of months, I've realized they have released this or re-released this fragrance, but it comes in a different package. So I'll just put up a picture of the new package that it's been re-released on the screen, at least so that you know how it looks like now. However, people still complain that they don't find it anywhere, especially in the US, and I think I have a sort of replacement for it. Over the last couple of months, I have been eyeing this one. I didn't know whether I should pick it up, because I was like, okay, I'm not like a super huge fan of coffee fragrances. However, I love French coffee, and I felt like I was satisfied with that. I didn't need any other coffee scent. But I was also curious, and I also wanted to be able to give people the alternatives to French coffee. If Eternal Coffee by Paris Corner is any close to it. So in this video, I have a very simple or brief review of Eternal Coffee, and then I'll compare it to Rehab's French coffee to see if there is any similarity, so that if you cannot find French coffee, then you can get this one as an alternative. The note in this one includes the following: coffee, milk, caramel, lactonic, coconut, heliotrope, musk, sugar, tonka bean, and creamy. If you love coffee, I believe the description I'm going to give to these two fragrances will make a lot of sense to you, and in return you might understand how these two smell better. In my opinion, French coffee is more like a cappuccino with a layer of some steamed milk and then some sprinkle of powdered cocoa powder, let's say cocoa powder, with some cream on top of it. That is how I would describe this one. However, when it comes to Eternal Coffee by Paris Corner, this one is more of a latte. This one is more milky and more creamy. Although it has that sort of espresso quality to it, that coffee, it basically has that coffee, but it comes across as more of a latte to me, in that it has more of that coconut milk, because it has coconut and heliotrope, but heliotrope is not like, a shining star in this one at all. Instead of the milk that you find in the French coffee, you find more of a creamy coconut milk. Let's say this one is like layered with espresso, layered with coconut milk, and then dairy milk also. You get that sort of nuance in this one. And then you have a little cream to it. It doesn't have that cacao or cocoa powder sprinkle on top. It doesn't have that. So you don't get any cocoa or cacao elements in this. With that being said, I consider this one more of a latte and this one more of a cappuccino. They both have the same, let's say they both have that sort of espresso layer, but this one has that coconut milk with a dairy sort of milk added to it, and this one has the creamy dairy milk with some cacao powder sprinkle on top of it and some cream on top of it. French coffee, to me, it's much more of the espresso or the coffee. You get like a thicker, deeper, more dense coffee note to it. Although you get the same espresso vibes in this one, it is a bit watered down by the coconut milk you find in this. That being said, it doesn't mean this one is not a coffee scent. Coffee is the most prominent notes that you smell in this one. This is not like as photorealistic when you compare it to French coffee. French coffee is a very photorealistic caramel cappuccino scent, whilst this one is also quite photorealistic. Let's say if you have not smelled this one before, you would consider this one as photorealistic also, but in comparison to French coffee is more photorealistic cappuccino with some caramel, while this one is watered down because of the coconut milk that you find in this one. It comes off as a bit more lactonic, more of a latte, more creamy, more of that milky essence, much more than French coffee. When you first spray French coffee, you are immediately met with that coffee scent, and it's the same for Eternal Coffee. As soon as you spray, you are immediately met with that coffee scent. However, the coffee is not as thick and rich and pronounced as the one that you find in French coffee. This one is more, richer, much more expressive. This one is much more expressive in terms of its coffee nature than Eternal Coffee. They are both like coffee prominent or coffee dominant fragrances, but this one is like a little watered down because of that coconut milk in it. Let's talk performance or projection with Eternal Coffee. I get about 5 hours of it. As soon as you spray it, it easily fills up a room. It is like such a photorealistic coffee that everybody will notice it as soon as you spray. It gives you the projection. It's quite a beast mode. It fills up a room when you spray. So this one gives you that projection. It also has that sillage. Once you spray it in the room, you leave the room and you come back, you still smell it, or you walk past someone, that sillage is still going to be there. People are going to notice that someone has walked in with something different. So that is this one for you. So let's say about 5 hours of projection, and then gives you additional like 2 hours, when it becomes like quite a skin scent. French coffee, on the other hand, it's more beastly than this one, because it has that sort of darker sort of espresso feel to it. It is like, it gives you more hours, in my opinion, or from my experience, it gives me about 6 or 7 hours where you can smell it, after which it's now subsides and becomes a skin scent. They are both like quite beastly, quite beast mode. I've tried layering this one. I think in my previous video I mentioned that when you layer this, it sort of overtakes everything, and I find the same with Eternal Coffee. That this one also has that quality where it sort of overshines whatever you try to layer them with. They are both like true gourmand scents. It is for like people who like sweet gourmand scents, because they have caramel, they have sugar, they have the lactonic creamy essence, and then the espresso definitely is present. So you get that coffee scent in them. I have one more coffee scent that I want to make some comparison to. If you are familiar with Maison Margiela's coffee break, then you know that it's also supposed to be a coffee scent. However, this one looks like a different take on coffee altogether. When it comes to this one, it is not like a photorealistic coffee scent, in my opinion, as compared to these two, French coffee and Eternal Coffee. These are both very photorealistic, but this one is like boxed with some lavender and some other, aromatic notes, which make it a bit brighter, and then the coffee takes like a second seat, behind the lavender and the other notes. However, these two are not like that. These two are quite photorealistic, although I see the French coffee to be more of that espresso, with a thicker, denser richness to it. They are both quite photorealistic. When it comes to coffee break, it just bears the name coffee break, but to me, it is not like a photorealistic or as photorealistic coffee scent as these two. So when it comes to a photorealistic sort of scent, or if you are someone who loves French coffee break by Maison Margiela, and you want something to something with some more espresso or some more coffee, then I'll recommend these two. I'll link the vendors from where I got the Eternal Coffee, and then the newly packaged French coffee. I'll link the vendor in the description, and then I've found some other websites that you can get them, so I'll link all those in the description below. If you have French coffee, I don't think you necessarily need this one, unless you're a fan of coffee scents and you just want to have both. But I think if you are trying to find French coffee and you're not getting it, getting Eternal Coffee is going to suffice. It's going to perform, almost like as though you have French coffee. Eternal Coffee will just, make up for French coffee if you cannot find it anywhere. However, there are very subtle differences between them. Very, very subtle. This one is more like that milky, coconutty vibes, whilst this one is more of the coffee. Those are basically the only difference, with this one being like much more, beastly than this one, but they are both very good. You can always reapply. So when it comes to performance, now I don't really go like it needs to give me hours. Once I can reapply, that's okay with me. It's the scent profile, and the scent profile is like a good one. Thank you so much for sticking around, and I hope this video was helpful, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.